I've said this before on many occasions. One of the reasons I absolutely just love Manila is that you just never know what the night's going to bring, and that's fantastic. So tonight, it was a Thursday night. I'm like, nah, like, no way am I going out. I don't have any tours booked. It's all good. But my girl's girl messages her, and she's all like, yo, Octopus has this, like, new promo for Thursday night wherein, like, if you bring 5 girls in a group to the club, they're going to give you a VIP table and throw a bottle on it for free. So that's like, like, I guess Octopus needs some honeys in the club on Thursday night, whatever. But, you know, the girls, for them, that's literally the honey trap, right? They're like, wait, we got a free girls' night out? Let's roll. So the next thing you know, my girl's like, yeah, we're going. The writing on the wall tonight basically says it's going to be a bender. But interestingly enough, I've literally just had to back off. I've had to back off. Like, halfway through the night, I just go ice water. It's been a rough 2 years. Ugh. Anyway, so again, you never know what's going to happen in Manila. When we rolled into the club, it was only 3 girls, right? But then one of the girls had a cousin in the club that was with another 3 girls. So now I'm up at the table, and there's 6 girls. So they give them the free table. And look what's rolling down the street right here. Look at that, look at that. It's not bad. It's not bad by any means. Don't get me wrong. Let's go see if I can manage this. It's Manila, baby.
Girls' night out can be a lot of fun. Although it's also kind of weird because you're doing like a double duty thing, right? You got your can't really sit at the table and scare the boys away from the single girls that are in the group, but then you got your girls in the group that want you to sort of shield them from the single guys in the club. It's usually a pretty good time. Normally I'll just kind of like roll around, look for 1 or 2 of my bros that are around, hang, chill, talk, head over the table, make sure everyone's good, grab a drink or 2, and well, usually end up playing cleanup. You'll see what I mean coming up.
Nobody can walk properly in We gotta go. It's Manila, baby. That last clip, it was like clean up at table 7. Remember I said I switched to drinking ice water halfway through the night. Maybe notice I wasn't actually drunk and slurring at the end of that segment. Oh, what a surprise. But no, times have changed. You know, I run a lot of nightlife tours this time of year. Gotta be on point. Gotta know what's going on. You know, I'm responsible for making sure my boys have a good time and they get home safe. And that goes double for the girls. Think about it. When you go out with 5 girls on a ladies' bender night in Manila, half those girls are gonna get drunk and the other half are gonna get wrecked. Someone has to make sure they get into a grab taxi and get home safe. And that's usually me. And quite honestly, I need a break from bender nights. I mean, that's just fun, but you know, it gets old. And alcohol kills gains, which kind of brings me to my next point, which is remaining healthy in Manila when there's so much insane temptation, right? Like I said, there was no plan to go out. I didn't know there was going to be a bottle on the table. I didn't know girls were going to be like, toast, cheers, drink up, woohoo, you know, and that's just how it goes. Look, I'm scheduled for a workout in the morning. And for me, I don't have the option to skip a workout. You just have to manage it. Speaking of working out, you know, I'll give you an idea about some of what I do here at home to keep fit. All right, so Philippines, working out from home, no AC, it's going to get sweaty. Something I've been working on are shallow chest push-ups. And I like to combine those with the dips. So take a little bit of a look at the technique I use for that today. I like to use the tire, all right? There's a couple of reasons why I like to use the tire. One, my shoulders, all right? When you put your hand on the tire, when you do push-ups, a lot of guys do push-ups, you know, fingers forward. I do push-ups fingers out. When you're gripping the tire, that makes it really easy to do, fingers out. Granted, of course, you've got your regular old full extension push-ups. And you push all the way up, right? And they're good, and we do a bunch of them. But recently, I've been doing these half extensions like this. And cranking my hard and making sure to get as much of my body weight over my arms as possible, over my chest. They go fast. 20, right? Little stretch. Range of motion, super important. It's 30 already, right? They start to catch up and you start to feel a bit of a burn around 40 or 50. Again, when I'm working out, I will go to, into progressive overload, but I also just like to move. So to stay flexible. And you can mix it up. Sometimes I'll do V push-ups. But these are the ones I've been working on recently because I've really been feeling them in the chest. And the tire has a little bit of a bounce. So you kind of throw your weight down and push it up, You want to get that progressive overload push hard vibe, and then occasionally you can just sort of one arm it. Work on those triceps a little bit. Just keep pumping until you literally can't do one more. If you can only do 20, do 20. Then another 20. Then another 10. All right, after this we move on to dips. Depending on the day, I usually only do dips 3 times a week. Try to do push-ups 5, sometimes 6 days a week. If I get a little soreness, I'll back off, work on something else. Tossing a tire around into various different exercise configurations. That's a little bit of HIIT, that high intensity interval training, to your strength training. And moving the tire around like that from, push up the bench to back to neck to arms to curls, like it also engages other core muscles. Like you just got to move it around. And again, like flexibility, right? Can you do the frog squats, right? How often are you doing frog squats? How about regular body weight squats? Sumo squats, right? Lunges. All that stuff's super important. Super important. And it's super important that you do it like pretty much every day. Do you go to absolute max overload or progressive overload every day? Probably not. I don't. And again, it's about preserving that shoulder integrity. And that's one of the reasons why I don't do the push-ups like this. I do them like this. It makes a big difference. Give it a shot. Doing a lot more cooking at home. It's a beef and bean sprout cellophane noodle stir fry. Right across from, it's a very nice uptown mall here in Uptown BGC. These lampposts, they've been there since before lockdown. Just interesting that there's just nothing being done with this little area, this little property. It's just a smoking and vaping area at the time, but eventually either this property is owned by the city and will be sold or developed, or you're going to get another condo right in here. Again, across from the mall, you can see this open, green, grassy area. That's not a park. It's not a walking area. That is a property that is for sale. And guys ask me about condos all the time, buying condos. And like, I'm telling you that within a few years, that will be a massive construction site. And every condo that is around here is going to have to deal with 24/7 construction noise for 5 years straight while they build it. That's what happened with the Hyatt Regency Tower. That's what happened across from One Uptown. Trust me, I lived there for like 3 years. If it wasn't for lockdown, it would have been construction noise 24/7 for years straight. The other thing I get asked a lot, is a condo a good investment, and would you invest in BGC? Well, again, these condos are going up so fast all the time, and there's so many of them. I believe it's the kind of investment that is going to be challenging because, you know, the newer your condo, the more it's going to cost, the higher in demand it's going to be for resale. So if you bought a condo in one uptown, which went up 8 years ago, 7 years ago, maybe only even 6 years ago. When I was living there, they were still building it. So now you're gonna have a condo going up here. In 3 years, you got one right next to the one that went up next to Uptown 2 years ago going up. You got all the new Ritz-Carlton ones going up. It's a lot of condos, man. Personally, I would not buy a condo in Manila. And you want to know why? Check my lockdown playlist. See why.